Aquarius, welcome into the channel. I hope you're doing well. If you're new, I welcome you in as well. So this is going to be your reading for the full moon in Leo. We are currently already starting to ramp up into that energy. It will peak Sunday. Energy still goes even a few days after. So, that's about the full moon in Leo is it's about communication, right? Courage, creativity, and being unapologetically yourself, right? So I'm curious as to how is this full moon affecting your romantic life? Always remember, take what resonates and throw out what doesn't. If you find nothing is resonating, you need to check out your other sign placements. We all embody all of the zodiac signs, okay? Because we all have houses, and the houses represent different areas of our life. So even if you don't have a planet in one of your houses, you still have a zodiac sign that represents that house. Okay, so always feel free to check out really all 12 zodiac signs. And you may find yourself in any of those readings, and you also may find these stories carry over into other readings. Okay? All right. What's going on for Aquarius? Full moon in Leo. What's going on with their romantic life? Okay. Five of Cups. Crossing Ace of Cups. Root, Page of Swords. Past is the Sun. Your higher self is the Queen of Cups. Oof. Near future is the Nine of Swords. Currently Four of Pentacles. Ooh, outer influence is death. Hopes and fears, we've got the Ten of Pentacles. And the outcome, okay, we've got the Two of Wands. All right. So Aquarius, you are currently disappointed right now. Okay, you're feeling lost, you're feeling grief. And I'm sorry. That's not good. That's not good energy. What's crossing you is the Ace of Cups. That's new love, right? That's you're struggling maybe with emotionally opening back up to a new love connection. Okay? So the root of all this situation is the Page of Swords. You could be trying to find out some information. So if you're currently feeling disappointed, somebody may have disappointed you. The crossing may be you wanting to maybe either step back out into new love prospects, or you potentially wanting to have a new beginning with somebody that has disappointed you. In the recent past, you had the Sun. So you were happy. You were feeling good. You were warm like the sun. You were, not cold towards anybody. I feel, were this happy, you were happy to get out of bed. You were happy to face the day. You were happy, because you may have had a certain person in your life and it felt really good. Your higher self is the Queen of Cups. So it feels like your subconscious mind, your higher self, is telling you to use your intuition. Okay? You use your intuition, and maybe it's time to heal your emotions a little bit, all right? Because, like I said, you're currently not feeling it. But your higher self is like, come on. Listen to your intuition. It's time to warm up again like you were in the past, the sun. And it doesn't mean you have to warm up with anybody else. You can simply be feeling warm and happy by yourself. Like, I got ice out here. There is ice out here. It is freezing where I'm at. I live alone. I have a dog. But I am very comfortable, being on my own and doing things. And I think maybe that's kind of what needs to happen with you right now, is to find your happiness, even if you're alone, doing hobbies or something, right? Just being happy with yourself. If you're happy with yourself, then you can clearly be happy with other people that enter your life. In the near future, we have the Nine of Swords. So you're going to be having a lot of anxiety. You're going to be having some sleepless nights. It feels a little bit like you might be entering a dark night of the soul, which is the beginning of, an awakening. And so we'll do some clarifications, but, we don't want you to feel the anxiety and depression. So that's why I'm saying with the Queen of Cups, getting on that healing path and feeling warmth with yourself, pouring your energy into hobbies or something you love. Maybe you like to cook. I don't know if I'm talking to a masculine or a feminine. This could go both ways, right? It is a general reading, so it could be both ways. But if you're a masculine, maybe it's time to take a look around and see what needs to be fixed in your house. Pour a little love into fixing up your house. It's getting your mind focused on something else other than the feeling of the grief and the loss, okay? Your current feelings, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, so you might be feeling a little insecure. You might be having boundaries up that you're not aware of, because your struggle is the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is allowing yourself to open back up emotionally to romantic partners, whether it is, the one you're currently with, or it's, possible new prospects that could be coming into your life. But you're very much closed down to that, but that's okay. That makes sense. It's maybe with the challenge, you realizing you're not ready to open up to new relationships. And that's, the Page of Swords is kind of learning this, right? It's coming to grips of learning about yourself and opening up to the fact of, I know I'm struggling with opening up with feelings to new lovers. You know, you may have met a few people and you were shut down. And so, you know, whether you realize it or not, when you go out on a new date with somebody or you start talking to them, maybe you're, you know, talking to people online, whatever that is that you're doing, you know, the person on the other side can get a sense of the way you say things, the way you feel things. Maybe you're, you know, they're asking you to go out and you're like, well, I got this to do, I got that to do, maybe next weekend, right? So it's like you're still putting yourself out there, but yet if somebody's asking you to do something, you might find yourself coming up with excuses. Because if you're ready and you find somebody you like, you know, we're not worried about washing our hair that day. You know what I'm saying? You're going to wash it the night before. You're going to be ready to go for that date because you're ready. If you're not, you're going to be coming up with excuses. I know, I've been there myself. The only reason I turn people down now is because of the growth I've done, the healing I've done, the elevation, okay, the ascension I've done. It's now I'm at a point where I'm rejecting people because they've just come out of relationships. And before, I used to be blind to the fact and think, oh, you're divorced now? Perfect. Thinking in my mind, oh, they're done. It's over. I don't have anything to worry about. I get into the relationship with this person, and then that other energy still haunted me trying to date this person. So I've learned my lesson. When somebody's just come out of a divorce, when somebody's just come out of a relationship, they're not ready. I know that now. So what I'm looking for is somebody who's been alone, who knows who they are, who's all into their own hobbies, who's open to opening up emotionally and can be bold and honest, right? That's the stage I'm at. So me turning people down is not because I'm still in grief and feeling disappointment from my past relationships. It's just because I know they're not, right? There's a difference. And I think that's where you're at. You're on that other end where, you know, you think you should be getting out there dating. Maybe you have friends and family telling you this and you're just not ready for it. And that just means you should just be loving yourself. Queen of Cups, right? Like I said, using your intuition to say, you know, I'm not ready. I want to do this to my house. I want to make this room, you know, my relaxation room. I want to turn this into my reading room, right? You're pouring love into something that makes you happy. And that's part of the healing process. And I think that's where you're at. You're outside, the outside, others around you, you've got the death. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying. If you are trying to put yourself out there and date, especially before you're ready, they already sense that this is already over before it even starts, because other people are going to sense that energy that you're not ready. Okay. So you're still in a transformation, you know, ending old cycles and transforming yourself. And a lot of us are doing that during the winter months. If you're in the northern hemisphere, we are in the winter months and we are stuck inside because it is cold as AF out, or, you know, you're shoveling ice to get out just to get to the store. So are you really wanting to get out and, you know, go out and meet people? Not really. It's cold. You want to stay inside. And that's where a lot of our transformation takes place. We are alone. We're not out communicating much unless all our neighbors are out and we're all shoveling snow and ice together. And even then, it's not very long because it's flipping cold. We're going to get our job done. We're going to get the shoveling done, and we're going to go back inside. So I think you're figuring out that you're not ready for anything new romantically. Your hopes and fears is 10 of Pentacles. So it's, you do hope for a higher level commitment, right? Something that is long term, setting that solid foundation, somebody that you can have the discussion of future, right? It's not like you're dating for, so what are you doing next weekend? No, you're dating for, so what are your future plans? Do you plan on staying in this area? Do you plan on living in this area? Do you want to have kids? Oh, you've been married before. Okay, well, would you ever see yourself getting married again? That's kind of where you're at. You're hoping to be able to find that connection that's long-term, solid, and planning for future, not for, well, maybe I'll see you next weekend, maybe I won't. You don't want somebody like that. You want somebody who's solid, who's going to stick around. I get that. So your possible outcome, you got the Two of Wands. Well, it looks like you're going to have a choice coming up in the future. That is making a decision, choosing a path, maybe you're planning what your next move is. So let's take a look at the Five of Cups. Let's get a little more on the disappointment. Let's get more on this, please. What's this disappointment? Oh, there's the Eight of Cups. Okay. Oh, there's the Ten of Pentacles. There's the King of Cups. So you could have been in a long-term relationship with the King of Cups. It could be a water sign. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Doesn't have to be. It could just be, a King of Cups that is has a lot of water in their chart. They're emotional, right? They are feelers. They're deep. And so your struggle was the Ace of Cups. It looks like either they walked away or you walked away with the Eight of Cups. I get a sense maybe they walked away. And again, it was somebody I think you were either hoping to have the Ten of Pentacles with, the planning for the future. Hey, where are we going to live? Where do we want to retire? That kind of thing. Really setting those plans up for the future. And somebody walked away. And it could very well have been you. You could have had to have walked away for a reason. I don't know what, but somebody walked away. Because I don't know, you could have been the one to do it. But I want to say maybe they did. Doesn't have to be. It could have been you, right? Because in the past you were happy. So they may have done something. Maybe you were hoping to plan for that future, and maybe they weren't. They were shut down to it, right? The King of Cups has emotion, but they could be a poker face. They can be very balanced and, not open up about what they want to do, long-term future. And maybe that's what was challenging, is the fact that they wouldn't open up about it. And so it's disappointed you, and somebody had to walk away. So I get that. It was somebody that made you happy because you had the sun in the past, right? You I think were ready, but it doesn't look like they were. Let me pause you for just 1 second. My phone's ringing. Oh, Aquarius, I'm sorry about that. I've had a lot of people calling me when I'm in the middle of readings these past couple of days. I tell you, it's like, all the interruptions. So I apologize. All right. So what is this Nine of Swords in the near future? What's going on here? What's happening? What is this Nine of Swords in the near future for Aquarius? Oh, the Devil. The Ace of Swords. There's the Nine of Pentacles. You, in your mind, in the near future, you are very much afraid. When you get clear on the fact that this person may not have had those long-term plans that you had hoped for. When that comes through, and you realize, okay, I'm going to have to be alone. It's going to throw you into a bit of a dark night of the soul, where you're going to start to have to work on your shadow side. And I feel very much your shadow side is you learning to love and be happy with yourself. Like I said in the beginning, is doing projects around your house, getting into hobbies, spending that time by yourself to know who you are. Right? And maybe realize through this anxiety, when you do get this clear idea of what really happened and why somebody walked away, you can still do it on your own with the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles can do it, is everything. The only thing the Nine of Pentacles is they don't have love. I'm just like you. I'm making the money. I'm doing everything. I'm fixing things in my house, or I'm calling somebody to do it. I'm mowing my own lawn, I'm doing all that. This is the person that can do it all. They just don't have love in their life yet. And it's you working through that shadow of, you can do this on your own. You can do this. You can spend time with yourself. You can learn to love yourself and realize you don't need to have a partner to be happy. You can simply be happy with yourself. And then when you get through this, that's when you can realize, oh, Well, I don't need anybody. I mean, I want somebody, but I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody for future plans, for a future savings account, 401k. I can do that. You are perfectly capable of doing that on your own. And I think it's going to, bring you to your knees a little bit. And you're going to have some sleepless nights. It's going to be stressful. You might have some crying spells. But then you're going to come out of it and realize that, look, she's really happy. He, she, however you want to put that. Very, very content. And I think you're just afraid that you can't be content on your own. So I feel like Aquarius is not your main placement, because Aquariuses have no problems being alone. They like being alone. They love, doing things with themselves. So it might be a different placement for you. Okay. So really, we get this. We get that you're struggling with what happened. You're going to go through this healing process over the next couple of months, because we are in the winter season here in the Northern Hemisphere. What's your Two of Wands? What's that choice coming up in the future then? Let's jump to that. What's this Two of Wands for Aquarius? What's coming up in the outcome, the future? Let's see something good. Page of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. I like it. The Moon. Yeah, the Moon. It looks like you're going to have a choice, your outcome, and that is to do the work that's in the Moon, which I think is going to be coming up in the near future for you, right? It's getting in there, digging into all those deep secrets of the devil, your shadow side, working through that dark period. But when you do that, you have a choice. You're going to come out beautiful. The Queen of Wands, right? After doing all this hard work over these, next couple of months, you're going to step out and you're going to have new opportunities coming towards you, and you're going to have a choice to be able to embrace those opportunities, because you're going to be feeling good. You're going to be looking good because you've worked on yourself. You might feel like you're a little bit of a mess right now. You're feeling a little depressed, right? You're holding boundaries up. You're feeling a little insecure, because you thought what you had was the deal and the real deal, and it wasn't. And it's okay. You're going to survive through this. When you face the shadow and realize you are fully, fully capable of being alone, independent, and you know this, that's when you become the Queen of Wands. You're beautiful, you're magnetic, you're looking good because you've taken the time to work on your shadow. You're taking the time to look at why this didn't work. What role did you play in this? What were the conversations you had with them? You're going to start to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and then you're going to start to realize, oh, you know what? When they said XYZ, I should have realized at that point they were not open to the long-term future planning and building. Oh, I get it now. That's why I said your higher self is saying, open up to your intuition, right? Read between the lines, listen to what people are saying. Sometimes people don't always say exactly what it is that they mean. They sometimes skirt around it. In this King of Cups, like I said, they can be a poker face at times. They have feelings, but they may not have, totally opened up about how they really felt. So they may have their own thing going on to where they're afraid to be more open and honest about, well, I'm not really looking for anything long term. So that's, but that's on them. That's not on you. But you opening up to your intuition, you're going to realize, through conversations with people when you meet them, if they don't answer you directly when you're trying to ask a question about, hey, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself married? Oh, do you see yourself having any other children? You're going to wake up to realizing how they answer is going to send you the flag signals to not get so involved. So the Queen of Wands, she's the one that's very passionate, she stands on her own, but yet she attracts. And I think you're going to have choices coming up because you've gone in the moon and you're doing the work. It's going to be rough because you're already feeling that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be so much better for you because you're going to come out and you're going to have opportunities coming your way. Okay? You're going to be able to have choices. But at the same time, you're going to be able to interview those choices, right? And to see, are they on your same level, right? They may not be where you're at, and you're going to realize that sooner rather than, getting in too deep with somebody realizing, oh, they're not really that long term. So let's get you, excuse me, I'm skipping ahead. Thank you, Spirit. I am menopause age, so Spirit's always like, hey, you forgetting something. Okay, gotcha. Help me. What do we have in here? Any additional messages that will help Aquarius? Any other messages here that will help Aquarius or about the situation that we need to know? Yeah, there's the mask. Finances. There's the signs. You remember me telling you when you go through this and you do your shadow work and you realize you can stand on your own, whether you're masculine or feminine, you don't need anybody in your life. None of us do. I mean, we want somebody. And the difference is you don't want to need them, for anything financial, right? You want to make sure they don't need you for anything financial, right? You both can come to the table with your finances together and you can be a team and put your finances together to build that empire. But you want to make sure you're not going into a relationship based solely on, well, they would benefit me financially. They check the box off, they got a good resume. How much money do you make? Okay. It should be more about love and you two putting your finances together and building that empire together. making sure you're not wearing a mask and making sure you're able to see through other people's masks, right? Just like I said, King of Cups can, they have emotions and they're not always, poker face. They can open up. But in this situation, I don't think they were fully open with you until time went on and maybe you kept asking questions or you were trying to make plans and then they kind of, were getting a little funky on you and then it ended up where I think they walked away. It could have been you. You take that as it resonates. But it's now learning to see the signs with using your intuition after you do your shadow work and stand on your own 2 feet, become the Queen of Wands, where you're just going to start attracting people. And you're going to want to be mindful because when you are the Queen of Wands, you're going to have a lot of people, wanting to get a piece of that beautiful energy that you have because, the Queen of Wands can be very magnetic. She's a go-getter and looks good, or he or she. You take that as it resonates. There's no gender, right? Regardless, you look good. You go after what it is that you want. But you're going to learn from this, and to be able to see, hey, are they just with me because of what I can do financially? Or, thank you, Spirit, confirmation. Or, do they love me for me? And is it they want to build an empire with me together? Or is it they're needing a sugar mama or a sugar daddy kind of thing, right? Whatever that may be. You're going to wake up to those flags earlier and not get in too deep. So that's kind of the confirmation of what we've already talked about. So let's get you an angel number. Yeah, and I'm seeing on this license plate on this car 222. That's partnerships. It's balance. It needs to be balanced. It can't be one person wanting the dream of the relationship to go one way and the other not contribute to that dream. You both have to be on the same page. Take a step. 5, 3, 5. Let go of old beliefs and patterns that no longer serve you. Prepare to step out of your comfort zone in order to grow and expand. That's what this 9 of Swords is in the near future. Like, you're going to get clear that I'm afraid of having to step out and be alone and do things on my own. I do it all too. Would I love help? Yes. But I don't want no help that's going to make more work for me. If somebody's going to come in and enhance my life and help me, yes, let's talk. If you're adding to my responsibilities, no. No. And this is you now learning that you can step out as the Queen of Wands, fully secure, fully confident, knowing that you can do it all on your own. I don't need anybody. Then you're going to start attracting people, and that's when you're going to have to be like really interviewing people, right? Really reading between those lines, because I can't tell you how many people I've had to turn down because what the universe does, which a lot of people don't realize, is the universe, every time you're ready to step back out into that arena, the dating arena, the universe is like, are they ready? Let's test them. I hate to say that, but they do. So what they're going to do is they're going to go, okay, let's find that person. Let's send them, Aquarius's way. The problem is, it's the same exact person. They're just in a different body. And they're going to do that a couple of times. That's why they say you have to go through a few frogs to find your prince or princess. No gender here. That's why they say that, because the universe wants to make sure you're not going to fall back, be blindsided by somebody who isn't being truthful with their feelings with you about where they see you in the future. Okay? So you might get a few frogs. I'm still getting them too. I just say no. No. You know, I'm with you, Aquarius. You know, if you're in my area, let's hang out, man. Let's hang out. Let's be friends, because I haven't had the one that matches my vibration yet either. So we're on this journey together. I hope this was helpful for you. If anything resonated, please hit the like button. If you feel comfortable, comment. All right? Share, subscribe. Thank you for stopping by and watching. I love you. I hope you're safe. You're going to get through this. And let's hope that the next reading I have for Aquarius, there's a change. You're already into that Queen of Wands. You're stepping out. You're looking good. You're feeling good. Your energetic field is attracting all these people. And then you gotta start ripping their masks off, you know. Who are you really before I let you into my life? Okay? All right. I'll talk to you soon.